Welcome to Pet Partners. So happy to have you with us in the spring edition of Pet Partners. And today I have a couple of very special guests with me. I have Jennifer Perigo from the Rutland County Humane Society, our new executive director, if you didn't catch the last program. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
And Jennifer brought with her a very special guest. This is Bucky.
This is Bucky, yes.
And I have to say, we usually get started a little sooner when you walk through the door, but it took a little time because we all just had to have our puppy time.
Yes, puppy time is important.
Puppy time is important. It's good for mental health, and I think everyone's going to go home happy today.
Yes.
Because we all met Bucky. So why don't you tell us a little bit about our guest today?
So Bucky came to the shelter. He was actually found in a dumpster in Rutland. So he came in, he was very young, probably 5 to 6 weeks old when he came in. I opted to foster him, and so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, I brought him here, I'm probably going to keep him, unfortunately, I'm a failed foster.
That foster fail that we all hear about.
But I thought it would be important to kind of talk a little bit about socialization, making sure, there's a very critical stage between the ages of 3 weeks and 16 weeks-ish, to make sure that you socialize your puppy, get them used to handling, get them used to different sights and sounds, exposing them to people and children, and just all sorts of stuff.
What they would experience if they went to the vet or the
Yes.
groomer, those kinds of things, where they're going to have to be handled in ways that are maybe uncomfortable, or the longer you go not exposing them to those things, it becomes uncomfortable,
Yes,
right?
yes, and it can eventually lead to dogs that are fearful and anxious, and it can also lead to aggression. Aggression is usually a response to uncomfortable situations that the dog is being put in. So it's important to make sure that, that early socialization takes place. I thought it was important because we have a lot of dogs that come in that, lack that, and it can create a pretty serious situation as they get older, because it's a lot harder to manage once they it's a learned behavior for them. So, yeah, like you say, handling their feet, putting your hands in their food bowls while they're eating, handling them while they're eating, touching them when they're playing with a toy.
Opening their mouths, maybe, looking at
looking
their
in their
teeth.
mouths and their ears, and just all over exposure really is so important, and is something that we would advocate for, in addition to kind of doing your homework about the type of dog that you're taking home, because obviously there's different breeds of dogs do require different things. So doing your homework, especially if you were going to purchase a purebred dog from a reputable breeder,
Yes.
Making sure that they get lots of exposure and socialization when they're young, because it can be pretty detrimental when they're older. So
I just heard about somebody, and I certainly won't name names, but it was somebody who was going to be adopting a border collie type puppy, and it's kind of a couch potato family, and
yeah.
older too. And I'm thinking, oh yikes! I wonder how this is going to work out, because those are super high energy dogs. They need lots of mental stimulation. They need lots of physical activity. They like to find a job, do a job, and I don't know if it's going to get that in this place. And they may end up being frustrated.
Right.
And you see that all the time. Someone's just kind of attracted to a certain type, or likes the look or whatever, but maybe doesn't understand what that breed needs.
Right, and it is so important to definitely do your homework with that type of thing, because the dog could ultimately find other ways to entertain itself by being destructive.
Right.
Especially those working breeds, any sort of herding type dog or working breed, it'd be important to to definitely kind of have an outlet for that energy.
Right. I would say the grandchildren come over and the dog starts more aggressively herding them around, that kind of thing. That can happen. So just kind of know what you're getting,
Yes.
and try to work with that. You're doing a wonderful job socializing Bucky. He certainly seems to love everybody and has been exposed to a lot. That's where I fell down with my 2 puppies. Because I got them when my daughter was really little. And so I had a baby, or kind of toddler age, and 2 young puppies. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, I guess I thought they would grow up together, and then the dogs would be used to having a little one, and and that has turned out that way, and that's great. But what I didn't do was get them out a lot and expose them to other dogs. So other dogs were always a little bit of an issue for my dogs, because now they're protective of each other.
Right.
They're protective of our family, and they're kind of country dogs. So
Yeah.
they don't, they get out some, but they don't get out as much as maybe I should have done in the beginning.
And I think, I mean, a lot of it, I don't think people actually, they don't really think about those things. I guess when you're in the moment and, you think you're doing a good job, but it is a lot. It's a big responsibility. I think, especially puppies, because they do need that special attention, other than just their physical, health and they really definitely need that mental health and the exposure too. So I've even, resorted to bringing him to a puppy class, because obviously when they're young, people are, reluctant to bring them around other dogs, obviously because they may not be protected from certain, diseases that can be picked up, transferred between 2 dogs. But so a lot of people are reluctant to get them out and get them into a situation where they're with other dogs, which is warranted for sure. So, I would suggest a puppy class. I do bring him to a puppy class because he is young, and I want to be careful about exposure to dogs that I don't know what their health history is.
Right.
Taking him to a puppy class, I know that the dogs have been vaccinated and they've been checked out and stuff like that, as far as usually.
That's a really good tip, and plus, they're needing to learn those skills from the puppy class as well. So they're getting the
Yes.
socialization and the little bit of obedience at the same time.
Right, yeah, so,
Yeah.
and it's also kind of important to say, when they're young, to not take them away from their mother and their siblings too soon. That does create a little problem in itself, because especially with him, he has a tendency to kind of bite down a little bit too hard when he's playing. And a lot of that has to do from, comes from the behavior that he would have learned from his mother and his siblings as they.
He never got those corrections
Right.
that are very necessary for a young
Right, and
pup.
it's hard for a person to give, a dog, it's all about positive reinforcement, so, which
Right,
they
and
really.
like you said, those little teeth hurt.
Yes, they
right?
do. Yeah, so it's always important to make sure that they stay with their mom and their siblings for, till at least 8 weeks. I would even say even longer, because they do learn that from their siblings and their mom, and it's what they call bite inhibition, and they're able to basically judge how hard they're biting down. And if they have their siblings teaching them that, as they grow up to be adults, they know what that is, how much pressure hurts. So,
Right.
So we're getting there. So.
Well, and if I had anything to contribute other than socialize, certainly with other dogs, from my own experiences with puppies in the past, it would be also hang in there. There are certain periods of time when you will ask yourself, why did I do this? Like, what have I done to myself? And
I've asked that.
Yes, and I mean, especially when they're getting to be around, I don't know, closer to 9 months to a year, and then up to 2 years, they just sometimes have some issues. They're like, they go into that adolescent or teenage phase, and you're
Yes.
just like, wow, this is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And you gotta love them through it.
Yes,
and
you
just,
do.
And keep working. I was always one of those book parents that's always looking, researching things online and stuff like that. You kind of have to do the same with your puppies too.
Yes.
Ask questions, do some research, and work your way through the problems, because they're temporary.
Yes, they absolutely are.
Or they won't be temporary if you don't
If you don't.
address
yes,
them,
if
and
you
then
don't.
they end up in the shelter, and those are the kinds of issues that you often see.
Yes, yeah, so we do have a lot of dogs, a couple, that we'll talk about today, kind of that are the result of not getting that proper socialization or handling when they were younger. And now that they're adults, it can be a little bit more difficult to manage.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe we should just start
Yeah,
talking about them.
Okay.
Okay.
So, the first dog on our list is Lady. She's a red-boned coonhound. She was actually on the show last time. She's still with us. I don't understand why. She's so sweet. She was a little girl that came to us. The people couldn't afford treatment. She had parvo when she was a pup, and now she is super high energy, as you can see.
As you can tell.
She's a spayed female. She's very sweet, very, very affectionate, fun. She would probably do better. We have noticed a little bit, when she came in, she was a little malnourished, so we do find that she values her food quite a bit, which could also be a reason why a dog is like that. If it was somehow malnourished or starved, it can be protective of its food. So, things you could do is scatter feeding, which is just throw their food down and let them get it instead of, eating it out of a bowl. She's so young, and I think it's not so much more that, I think it was just that she was, has been so malnourished and neglected that she just values food a lot now, but, very sweet. She's probably about a year old now, so come and see her because she's so cute. She's
Yeah.
one of my favorites because
Come
I
and
was
see
nursing her
her.
back to health when she was little. So, but she's been with us for a while because she had been on that medical hold while she was getting better.
She's
but
ready to go.
Yeah, she's a great little dog. If you're active, perfect dog to take on a hike. And I don't think if I could bottle that energy, I would sell it and be
Ooh,
rich.
I'd love some, yes. But they always give you an excuse to get out there, right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And so the next dog on the list is Izzy. Izzy is a boxer pit mix, spayed female. She was surrendered because she wasn't getting along with the other female dog in the house. They do say female-female is actually the worst combination you can have. Male-female is usually the best. Male-male is the second best, and then female-female was actually the least, because for some reason, females have a tough time getting along with each other.
Yeah. Oh, good, we have a male female in our house, so that's, did
So,
something right.
So she wasn't getting along with the other female, so she was surrendered. She's lived with cats, she's lived with kids. Sweet girl. She would be a great dog. She doesn't seem too, she plays, but doesn't seem to have too much energy, but she seems to do pretty well with treats being taken from her, or toys being taken from her, so
And
that's
look
good.
at those socks and her chest and the markings on her face. Oh, she's so cute.
She's very cute. Look at that.
Aw. She's adorable.
She's a sweetie. And then we have Odin. This guy is a staff favorite. As you can see, he's a Rottweiler. He actually was found in a crate on the side of the road.
What?
Yeah, so a passerby saw him in the crate. It looked like he'd been in there for a little while, so brought him in. And this dog, Rottweilers may have, they're a guardian breed, so they might have a little bit of a bad rap, but he was obviously well cared for and socialized. He's doing great in the shelter, which is surprising for that type of a breed because they do have a tendency to guard their space. So when they get into a kennel environment, they have a tendency to guard their kennel. He has just been a wonderful dog. So if you're a lover of Rottweilers, he's a great dog. He is scheduled to be neutered. He's not neutered yet, but he is scheduled to be neutered within the next week or so. He's definitely a staff favorite, and he's a good boy.
For all the parents out there who read the Good Dog Carl books,
Yeah.
where the Rottweiler is the babysitter.
I know, yes.
I love those books, and that's all I can think of when I look at this fellow. He is so
he's-
cute and sweet.
Yes, he's a very good
He
dog.
looks like a good dog.
Okay, next on our list is Marlene. Marlene, she came to us from another rescue. She was transferred to us. We had a little bit of space, so we decided to help out another group. And when she came to us, we started noticing she seemed like she wasn't able to hear. And she also seemed to kind of have a little bit of a, she would do some circling and things like that. We did have the vet take a look at her, and she does have pretty much, she can't hear. We kind of discovered that pretty quickly. when we were trying to get her attention. And then she also has what we are suspecting is a little bit of a neurological thing. The vet suspects that maybe she had distemper when she was young, and it kind of had a little bit of an effect on, her brain development. So, but other than that, she's very sweet, more lower key, would probably do well in a quieter home, obviously, with somebody. She doesn't seem to need a lot of activity. She came to us, she was a little overweight, so we're trying to get that a little bit under control, but she's, as you can see, probably the fact that she can't hear, and she does kind of have that little bit of that neurological thing. She's seemingly pretty nervous, but she's a very sweet dog. And she's about 4 years old, and we have her as like a border collie cross, but we're not really sure. We're kind of guessing. She might be maybe some lab in there. Hard to tell. I wish we could test them all, DNA test them all to get an idea what they are. But good girl. She would, like I said, could do well in a quiet home. The next dog we have is Maisie, who is a Great Pyrenees. We've had three Great Pyrenees at the same time over the last month or so.
Oh my goodness, yes, because I just saw one on social media and it was a different one.
Yeah,
My
so
goodness.
oddly, and I mean, it's not really a breed you'd see in a shelter very
No,
often.
this is in a way kind of a
So-
high-end breed, if you will.
Yeah. So she actually came from an ACO. She was an ACO stray in a neighboring county, actually, and they were full. The shelter in that county was full, so they asked if we had space, and we told her we told them we would take her in. We've got her as about a couple years, maybe 3 years old, I think, and we don't really have any history on her. She's very sweet. When she came in, we think she probably may have been a working dog, maybe
Like livestock guardian or something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, but again, hard to tell what their exposure is. I wish when they came in as strays we had a little bit more information, but she is doing really, really well in the shelter. She does seem to know some commands. She's a great dog, though, very sweet. She is being treated. She did test positive for heartworm, so we are treating her for that. Something to think about. We actually have to wait to have her surgery or spay surgery because she wasn't spayed until she's done with her treatment there. So,
But once she's had her treatment and spayed, she's just going to be good to go.
yeah, she'll be
right?
good to go. We'd probably send her out as foster to adopt, because the heartworm treatment can last a little while. So we wouldn't want her lingering in the shelter if she didn't have to be there. So we would probably send her home as a foster to adopt, so that she can get out of the shelter. And then, we would still cover the spay and stuff when the time came.
She's lovely.
The next dog we have is Pinky. Pinky is a cattle dog mix, and we are a female. She was a surrender. She doesn't do well with strangers, so basically exposing, being watchful of that and maybe working with it, understanding it, and I guess being responsible when it comes to introducing her to strangers. But she can.
She's not liking my husband with
Yeah.
a camera right now, I'm thinking.
Yeah. When we
Yeah.
actually decided, we said, well, we'll do this outside in the X pen, so that she, doesn't feel, I guess, cornered.
Cornered, right.
But again, it was a situation where probably, I feel like she, probably needs a job, and she, didn't have that outlet, and, it's one of those things, again, it's important to socialize them early, with people, with all sorts of people, because sometimes you end up with a dog that's not, and, oh my goodness. He's very demanding.
Bucky has a lot to say.
I know, he does.
He knows you have treats up there, too. He's next.
Yep. Next on our list is Moose, and he's a Rottie Hound. Again, he was a stray, so we don't have any history. He does, we need somebody that will be committed to, basically showing him that the world is not a scary place. And we think he might be maybe, he kind of looks Doberman, maybe Rottweiler and Hound. So, again, not really sure, but.
He's got all the black and tan
yeah.
breeds in there.
And he's a nice dog. And again, we don't have any history because he did come in as a stray. So.
Oh, cute fellow, kind of shy.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
Needs
And
a place
once
to
he
call
gets,
home.
yeah, and again, and a lot of times, once they get to know you, they start to warm up, but it's a scary place in itself, so.
Yeah.
And then the last dog we have is Ace. He is a golden retriever. He's just under a year old. As you see, we took the toys and everything out of the room, because he is a dog that, does not like to share anything of value. So we call that resource guarding. So anything that's of high value, toys, when he eats, it has to be managed. And we are asking that anybody that's interested come in and have make an appointment, come in for a behavioral consult, just to be sure that they have an understanding that he has this issue. So things like giving him toys and treats, in a crate, feeding in a separate room. He does do well with other dogs. We're not really, the only concern we have is that if the other dog came over to take a toy or a treat from him, it might ensue a fight. So, he does great with other dogs, but somebody with another dog would have to have that knowledge and be able to manage that and, either separate them when they're eating. It is very manageable, but it does take a little bit more, structure and consistency. So, but he's a great dog, very, very handsome, friendly golden retriever. So, he's just got that little quirk on him, but he's very good.
And
so.
he's young. He's got a lot of years to reverse this and to learn.
Yeah,
So.
and again, it's the kind of is why it's so important to give them all that exposure and handle them while they're eating and while they're playing with toys, be touching them, and because in a situation like this, it's gotten to a point where he's almost a year old, and it could be in the wrong situation, it could be not a good outcome for him. So, but a great dog. Really, other than that, he's a golden.
Yeah,
he's a golden retriever. He's
a great dog.
Yeah. So just a little bit of understanding with him, and again, manageable. So that's all that we had for the dogs. And this time we do have cats. I don't think we had any cats the last time.
Not many.
Maybe a couple, one or two.
A couple kittens.
Yeah. So first cat is Peppermint. Peppermint's about 4 years old. Stray, very friendly, very sweet, and I love the black cats. I have an affinity for them.
I like black cats too. They don't show up as well in photography, but they're always very striking and beautiful in person.
No. Hi.
And no, folks, they are not bad luck.
No, they are.
It's a very old superstition.
It is very old superstition.
Give those black cats a chance.
Yeah.
I love them too.
So.
Yeah.
And Peppermint's a spayed female. And then we have Pearl, is a little calico. She's very sweet. Again, she's about 2 years old, spayed female. She came in as a stray, so we don't have a whole lot of information about her. I love the calicos too.
What a little cutie she is.
She's very, yes. She seems a little bit more interested in what's happening.
What a face.
Oh, and then she has a friend
She's a
joining
visitor.
in.
There's photo bomber over there.
Yes. Oh, and then we have Fanta. I don't think, I heard Fanta was not very receptive of being on TV.
Get that camera away from me. Stop following
So-
me.
Yeah, so Fanta actually was an ACO surrender, neutered male. He's about 5 years old. He was pretty much in that top space when I went in to visit him today, so
That whole
he-
room has a place to travel
Yeah,
from.
so.
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, he looks like he's got a little puffy tail going. He's not
Not liking it.
not liking that at all. Well, oh, poor
Oh,
guy.
poor Andrew was not popular today with his camera. Trying to do a good thing, but
Yes,
they didn't
yes.
realize it.
Yeah, and then you just never. It's not like you can tell him. It's all right. It's going to be
Just
we're
looks
just
like a
helping you find a
threat.
home. And then we have Archie. He's another black cat. He's 5 years old, neutered male. He was actually an owner surrender. Excuse me.
Pretty receptive to the toy you had out today.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Handsome guy.
Yeah, it's either one of the two, either, because they're both in the same room, the two black cats. I think it is Archie that seems to be the one that is always meeting you at the door. But yeah, it's got to be him, because just by the way he's so
Look
curious.
at his expression.
He's like, hi.
Yeah, on this show, we've always called it the mayor of the community cat room. There's always a mayor,
Yes.
seems like. So maybe it's him, Archie.
Yes. He's a good boy. And then we have Smokey. Smokey was an owner
Aw.
surrender. He's a little on the shyer side. He's about 7, which would be probably why he's a little bit more reluctant. Cats are so interesting. They really thrive on structure and consistency. They
Yes.
don't, moving the furniture around can really mess up their world.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, certainly once they get older. When they're kittens, everything's just exciting, but when they get older.
Right.
Yeah. Let's have consistency, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, he's cute.
He's a nice boy. He's actually being pretty good. I'm surprised he's not running away.
Yeah.
He's acclimating a little bit, though. It takes so much time for them to adjust, especially when they come from a home.
Says, I'm just gonna look out the window till the sky goes away.
Yeah. If I look away.
Maybe he won't be here when I look back. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he's a good boy. And then we have Sadie. Sadie's a black and white female. Owner surrender, again, shy. Very nice girl. She's like hanging out in her carrier.
Oh.
They're enticing her, and she's thinking about it, but she's not sure. She's a good girl, and I think we have her about 6 years old.
Aw.
And then the last kitty on our list is Moon, who is a dilute calico, which that's just the difference with that is it's gray instead of black. She
Right,
looks a little
You
black
don't see those
there.
as often. I had one when I was a kid, and it's a really pretty
Yeah,
coloring.
it is.
Yes, you don't see it as often.
And yeah, it's just the difference is like a gray instead of a black. And then there's the dilute torties, which is just the gray and orange.
Right.
So
Oh, she's full of some sass this morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
love it.
she's obviously very personable and, willing to go with the flow, in case you want that kind of a cat.
Well, we have to end with her today.
I
because
know.
we are almost out of time.
Oh, my goodness.
Doesn't it fly
It
when we're
does
talking about these beautiful
fly
animals?
by.
It sure does. And, kudos to you for keeping this little pup occupied and talking about all the animals for adoption. That is not easy to do. For folks who want to see what they could do or how they could help they can go to the website for the wish list.
Yes,
And we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank
Bring
you.
Bucky back anytime.
I will. He'd
Thank
be happy
you.
to come.
Thanks for watching Pet Partners.